This week,
the Toyota Yaris Cross.
interesting car, David, an interesting range. They've got three models, the GX, GXL, and this one, which is the top model, the Urban. Each of the three have all three drivetrains. They've got a front-wheel drive, a front-wheel drive hybrid, and an all-wheel drive hybrid like this one. So this is the top model. The power ranges between 83 and 88 kilowatts. Now, interestingly, the petrol has more power. What do you think about the colour?
I actually think it suits these sorts of cars, that deep red, maroonish, well, a little bit of maroon sort of colour.
I think it looks great. Coming around the side, and because I have the key in my pocket, I can walk up to the car. Look at that, wacky-do, hand inside the handle. And if I want to lock it again, I just touch these little ridges on the outside. And it gives access to quite a decent sized cabin. Oh, you made a complete hash of that, a complete and utter dog's breakfast.
Well, it's not easy. Could do with a little bit more room. My knees are just touching. This seat is right back as far as it can go. Good thing is that you can fit your feet under the seat with plenty of room. Well, you can immediately see I've got the seat well back. You can adjust the steering in and out. I like room for the feet, but the steering wheel a little closer to me. You can adjust electronically with this real horrible little switch. Why do they make it a triangle?
It sounds like a jackhammer.
Yeah. Nonetheless, I feel that I can sit in it comfortably and get comfortable well for a long trip.
And here's some of the upholstery on the door you were talking about. It's quite nice.
Look, the look of it's good, but I just feel that it looks like a bit of cheap cardboard with a nice finish.
You're a hard man. You're a hard man. Why don't we see what it looks like on the road?
Indeed.
So the heads-up display has got speed, line markings and so forth, and the details of the smart cruise control. But if you come down here, you'll see that this meter gives you how the power is being used. You can also scroll through to the all-wheel drive usage, and that shows you what the power system is doing. So the power system is going from engine to battery, or to battery to wheel, or engine to wheel, or both. And then this one shows you which wheels are being driven. I've got the microphone transmitter in this little tray, but have a look under there. There's some sort of concealed vents which sort of interfere with the bottom of this, I think. Coming down below, we've got heated seats, the hill descent control, but look down here, some extra controls. There's drive modes, and that relates to on-road use. Then there's snow and trail for off-road use, and you can even tell it, I would like to go in EV mode, thank you very much. Now, the all-wheel drive system operates just the front wheels in the two-wheel drive model. When they add all-wheel drive, the little motor sticks down the back, so the only thing joining the front to the back, instead of a prop shaft, is a power cable. Now you'll notice the electric brake has let go, and that also activates when you put it into park as well. Now, what's the first thing that you notice now that we're on the road?
The trouble is, it started out on electric mode, which is wonderfully and quiet. Yep. As soon as you get going with the power from the engine, I think it becomes it becomes clearly more noticeable.
Yeah, well, I think the other thing is that the 1.5 3-cylinder is noisier than a 1.5 4-cylinder. So there's a couple of other things this has got. Apple CarPlay, hurrah, though it still requires a cable, whereas even some Kias don't require cables.
Even though the overall market is down, the light SUVs is actually up. It's a market that's dominated by Mazda CX-3.
Well, I think this will kill it. I really do, and that's because Mazda only has, in some of their cars, a mild hybrid, whereas this is a full hybrid that can be driven in EV mode for a lot of the time. So going through the car park, this is very, very quiet. This also has other things that the Mazda doesn't. So for example, and I assume it destroys the seats when it deploys, but between us, each of the center parts of the seat, so like the inside parts of the seat, have airbags. If our airbag was to deploy, guess what? The Toyota will call Toyota, and Toyota will notify the authorities.
That's good, isn't it?
And if the airbag doesn't deploy, but you still have a bit of a bingle and things go a bit wrong, there's an SOS button up here, look. Well, I would go so far as to say, David, that this is the most advanced cutting-edge Toyota there has ever been.
Okay.
Road-going Toyota. I mean, there's a few developmental models, obviously, that have more stuff, but this is got connected services, superb ride, in my view. And that's the other interesting thing about the ride, is that this top model has all-round independent suspension, so it's got multi-link at the back, whereas the other models just have a torsion bar rear end. So the rear end from the Yaris.
How do you find the outside look?
Oh, well, I think it's cute. Yeah, I like it very much. Well, the other thing too is, of course, although this is a high-set Yaris, it's 20 millimeters higher, in fact, but it's also 10 millimeters longer in the wheelbase, and overall 240 millimeters longer than the Yaris. That's quite a substantial difference. The technology can't be beat. But David, it's the fuel consumption that I think is just extraordinary.
What are you getting in this?
Down as low as 3.8. Now, I'm not getting 3.8, but then I've been a little more generous with my acceleration. But if I had it in eco mode, more importantly, as low as 90 grams per kilometre of CO2. I like the fact that this has got little cubby holes all over it. It's got a kick to open power tailgate. They really have pushed the boat out, but they go from 26,000 and some change to 37,000 and some change.
Plus on roads.
Yeah, plus on road. So that's many shekels. Many shekels.
So that's
and
about
more shekels if you want metallic paint and a black roof. But of course it does go very well on the highway.
Okay, why don't we look at some of the footage of the highway driving?
Why don't we? Thanks, David. I'm leaving pie in the sky now to go down the Pacific Highway, the old Pacific Highway. I've got it just in normal mode and none of the other assistants are active. And this isn't a particularly high-speed road, but it's very bendy. Coming down through these sandstone cliffs, you can definitely feel the weight of the batteries as you go through these corners in comparison to the non-hybrid models. But I've got that four-wheel grip just in case I need it. Now, coming through a quite sharp bend. Interestingly, not a lot of body roll. Another sharp bend. Traction controls cut in again. And that's just trying to keep me neatly in the lines. Although I thought I was doing a good job of that myself, but maybe I wouldn't be doing a good job. It's cut in again. Maybe I wouldn't be doing a good job if the traction control wasn't on. From the back you can probably just see the little orange flashing light that goes on almost every time I go around a corner. And you really hear that engine, that little 1.5 3-cylinder engine scream. And it is screaming. We're not yet at, okay, we're at 110 now. And the other interesting thing is the speed recognition only just recognised I was at 110 for the first 300 metres. It thought I was still in a 60 zone. I've now activated my smart cruise control. And And the smart cruise control will keep you a set distance from the car in front. It'll slow down if the car in front slows down, but as I noticed just before, when it went into a new speed zone, it brought up a little flash on the windscreen, and I can just press the confirm, the set, and it'll go to that speed. Ride on the highway, very good indeed. Very smooth and very quiet. All right, back to you, David. Now you'll notice just when we were coming down the hill just then, it was charging up the battery. And just in our little drive, you seem to have gotten nearly a full charge of battery.
That's because I'm a gentle driver.
My nickname for you was Nicky. Although I think we'd covered that in a previous video. I think I decided I was going to choose someone who was alive. I like this a lot. What do you think?
I think it's a nice balance, that it's not over quirky.
I think so.
It's a small car, yet it reflects that small cars can be good features, great features, efficient features, practical applications without having to wear your quirkiness too badly.
But do you think it's worth the money?
You are paying a lot of money for these smaller cars, I must confess.
More expensive things are worthwhile.
Yeah, you're
vicious. He's vicious. What you should have said was, absolutely.
Absolutely, Alan.
Too late now, I've had to tell you. As always, if you've liked the film, hit like, leave a comment, and I think today we're going over here to subscribe.